1,592.
What?
Leaves in that plot. There was only 1,503 when we came in.
Don't talk such utter drivel.
I'm telling you.
It's artificial.
Is it? How much longer is he going to keep us? My buttocks are turning into fossilized fuel. Of course, that's solicitors for you. The longer they keep each client up there, the more they can charge them. That's how they make their money. They'd break wind in the phone and send you a bill for it. I've a good mind just to pack it all in and go home. Oh,
No!
you got one of my bits cut up. Right where it hurts, and the inside leg of my... Oh! It's agony when that happens. It just dropped out suddenly, and now the elastic's cutting it like the string in a bacon dumpling.
Do you have to make such an exhibition of yourself in a public place?
It'll be fine in a second if I can just slide it back inside. Oh, that's got you, you little bugger.
Can't you just be more careful how you sit down?
Oh, yes, I'll put them in an egg box next time. That's all right. It's one of those things, I'm afraid, as any man will tell you. put a spider in my flies. Look at that. There he goes, just struggling to get in through the buttonhole.
You sure he's not struggling to get out?
There's nothing inside there that a spider wouldn't want to see.
I expect. Be at home among the cobwebs.
Money spider, look.
You just can't do it, can you?
What?
You can't stay settled for 1 minute. It's completely beyond you.
I can settle, don't you worry about that. I can settle any time I want to.
Why don't you go for the easy option and use a giant wrecking ball? And have the entire building razed to the ground in seconds.
What sort of table's that anyway that's not joined onto the legs? Pretty well asking for trouble, that is.
Just sit down. Do you have to?
See that? How much dust there is in these cushions. Look at that.
I'll come over there to see how much dust there is in your ears in a minute. Now just give it a rest.
I wonder when this place had a good spring clean. VE Day. Still, not much point in dusting when you think about it. Only just settles again everywhere 5 minutes later. All you're ever doing is rearranging it in actual fact. Do you know what dust is?
Yes.
Old bits of human skin. Mostly. Just millions and millions of bits of all the people who waited in this waiting room. I mean, no saying who this is in my finger now. Sir Stafford Cripps. Incredible to think that, isn't it? Oh. Oh. I don't believe it.
Spare us.
Look at that. That bird nest in the window.
What about it?
It's on the inside. I've got it all over my nose. It's a ruddy death trap, this place. Oh. Oh. What is it?
Just hold still a minute. Just leave it. Will you?
How did that get there in the name of sanity? On the inside, if you please. I just give up.
I don't know. A pigeon maybe flew in when the window was open. Will you keep still? Now. Any more? You sure you haven't got horse manure or anything down the back of your shirt? It's worse than taking a child out for the day. I don't know why I don't put you on reins.
Hey! You! Yes, you! Excuse me! That happens to be my bloody car when you finish allowing your dog to urinate all down the side of it. Anyway, I think you hear what he said. It needed a wash anyway. Where are those cakes? You little bastard! I'm a good man to have you prosecuted for willful damage to property. See what you have to say about that.
You don't have to say anything until you've consulted a solicitor.
Who the hell asked you? You keep your nose out of this.
This gentleman's subjecting you to unreasonable public harassment, sir. In which case, my advice to you would be to seek professional representation without delay.
Oh, would it indeed? Well, I'll be getting on to my solicitor too when I see it, so don't you worry at that score, matey. And you can stick your nose in a lawnmower.
finished now?
Bloody naked vandalism in the streets. No one gives a damn in it. Listen to that. How thin these walls are. Must be where they divided up the original room. Listen to that. That's wafer thin.
Yes, I can hear. Thank you.
Lean back suddenly. Someone could put their head right through that.
I'll bear that in mind.
fish fingers have thawed out now. I could never look at one of these without thinking about...
I know what you're going to say, so don't say it.
I was just going to say about Mr.
know.
About Mr. Dibley, who lived down in Wingate Crescent. The talk of the whole street, that was. Do you remember when his wife came back that day and found he stuck one of these little 40...
Yes! Don't think I want to be reminded of the sordid details, thank you.
Things people do for pleasure. Never forget the look on his face when they carried him out to the ambulance. As if he'd just been hypnotized. Gave a whole new meaning to the phrase putting a light bulb in. Do you want to go? It's quite clean.
I'm sorry to have kept you both.
Oh, that's a relief. I'm still alive. Hanging on by a thread. Why is it that everyone else who comes in here only has to wait for 10 seconds, then they're in? But not us. I'm surprised if he isn't up there anymore. Probably left half an hour ago to go and play golf with various chief constables. Like that time I sat all afternoon waiting to see a throat specialist and found out he was at a cocktail party in Bury St. Edmunds.
Mr. Meldrew?
Oh, God's sake, I'd about time.
Mr. Latimer is not quite ready for you yet. His colleague, Mr. Mangrove, asked me to give you this.
What's this? Dear Mr. Meldrew, just to confirm that I have today received instructions to act on behalf of Mr. G.W. Skinner of 45 Ogden Street, who is filing a claim for damages in connection with an alleged assault carried out by yourself upon his pit bull terrier Horace this afternoon with a Sainsbury's coconut meringue. An assault with a coconut meringue? It wasn't even stale. Oh, I have never in all my life heard of anything so patently ludicrous. Well, I'm going straight up there. I'm not going to have this.
Leave
I'm
it
going
for
to
now,
stop.
Victor, for God's sake. We'll mention it to ours when we go in. Just don't make things worse than they already are.
Sorry I came here this afternoon. I am straight. I mean, it's cheered me up like I can't tell you. Sitting here all afternoon waiting to make out a will. Can only think of one thing worse than dying. And that's living forever. I mean, can you just imagine how terrible that would actually be if I was just always here forever and ever and ever.
Yes.
Don't know what it's all about when it comes down to it. Whether you're just here 1 minute and gone the next, like God rearranging the dust. Got no way of knowing. Anyway, I don't see the point of wills. Not in our case. Shared everything over all these years. It's purely a formality after all said and done.
37 years ago, this week as it happens.
Since what?
Since the first time we shared something.
What?
Our bodies. You remember? Peggy Hawksworth's engagement party in Glendale Gardens. I can still remember the first moment I walked into that room and saw this dashing, handsome young man standing over by the record player with a head of golden, wavy, thick hair. Couldn't look at anybody else all night. Spent the entire evening waiting to be introduced, just smiling across the room like an idiot. And then just after midnight, you remember, there was a power cut. We'd all had far too much to drink. I just seized my chance. Dashed across the room, grabbed your hand, and dragged you out into the garden. And I remember it took you a hell of a time to get going. You had your hand in my blouse for half an hour, twiddling a dead wasp. And then, eventually, we just both relaxed into it. And then we got up out of the lupins, dusted ourselves down, and went back inside. And when the lights came back on again, I remember, I just stood and looked at you and realized I'd grabbed hold of the wrong person. Jeremy Birchall, the one with the thick, wavy golden hair, was just leaving with that girl who worked in the hat factory. Anyway, got us started off together, and that was that. Funny though, isn't it? How it's hardly ever your first choice that you eventually end up with. Or even your second or third. All the ones you think you fancy the most, none of them are right for you, probably, in the end.
Yes.